Good day, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Representing Situations with an Equation. That's right, today we're going to be using two variables, x and y, to represent situations. So let's just suppose that a teacher gives out 3 stickers per student. How can we represent this with independent and dependent variable? Remember, the value of y depends on the value of x. So let's do y equals x and then figure out what we're doing. Okay, so if a teacher gives out 3 stickers per student and we're saying x represents the number of students, we can simply multiply the number of students by 3 to represent this particular situation, as you can see right there. Now, I have the table down below because now we can actually use this to determine how many stickers we would have based on the number of students. So let's try a few examples. Let's start out with the obvious one. Let's say I have 1 student. Well, if I have 1 student, then the number of stickers, y, is going to depend on what 3 times 1 is. And we know that 3 times 1 is 3. So when x is 1, y is 3. But we usually don't just have 1 student. Let's kick it up a notch. Let's say we got a decent-sized group of kids. Let's say we got 8 students in this particular group. How many stickers would we need? Well, y, the total number of stickers, depends on how many kids we have. So each kid gets 3 stickers, so we're doing 3 times 8, because we said we have 8 kids. And we know that 3 times 8 is going to be 24. So if I have 8 students, then I need 24 stickers. But let's say I have a normal size class. I have 30 kids. So I'm going to say 30 students. That's much more realistic for me. One time I had 39, you guys. It was crazy. How many stickers do I need? Well, y, the total number of stickers, depends on how many kids I have. Well, I know I need 3 stickers per kid, and it turns out we have a class of 30. Now, y'all know what 3 times 30 is? It's just like multiplying 3 times 9. Sorry, 3 times 3, but then you just add a 0 to it. So 3 times 3 is 9, but 3 times 30 is going to be 90. So just like that, with a class of 30 kids, we all of a sudden need a ton of stickers. So there's 3 examples using that equation. Let's do a few more examples of writing some equations based on simple situations and then plug in some values and hopefully give you some practice. Now, feel free to pause the video and try this one on your own, or you can just ride along with me and I'll be happy to help you. So what if we have a situation where we're doing apples in bags? We love apples. Each bag holds 5 apples. Now, we start out with the y equals x. The value of y depends on the value of x. It also depends on what's going on with the x, right? So let's look at this situation. X represents the number of bags. Fair enough. And y or represent the total number of apples. Now, we know that there's 5 apples per bag. So we could technically just multiply 5 by however many bags we have. And since x represents bags, we'll just multiply x by 5. And as you can see, we have done this correctly. So let's go ahead and plug in some values and see if we can come up with a few different situations. Let's say that I have 3 bags. 3 bags of apples. Should I use a different color? Let's use green because I love green apples, you guys. 3 bags of apples. So what we're going to do is we're going to take y, the total number of apples, equals 5, because there's 5 apples per bag, times 3, because I got 3 bags. And we know that 5 times 3 is 15. So when x is 3, y is 15. I have 15 apples. All right, let's try another one. What if I have, I don't know, 6, 6, 7. Okay, if I have 6 bags of apples, how many apples do I have total? Well, y represents the total number of apples, and we say y equals 5 times 6, because we substitute 6 for x. And 5 times 6 is 30. So, if x is 6, y is 30. Just like that, we've doubled the number of apples. Now, let's do one more, just for good measure. I don't know. Give me a number, any number. Some kid would be yelling out 3,472,000. No, there are not that many apples to calculate here. Let's say that I have 9. Oh, 369. Sure, let's do 9. So we're going to do 9 bags. Y equals the total number of apples equals 5 times however many bags we have. We say we've got 9 bags of apples. And so we multiply 5 times 9 and we get 45. So if I have 9 bags with 5 apples in them each, that means I have 45 apples. Just like that, we've accurately represented the situation and figured out multiple scenarios for how many apples we would have. Should we do another one? Let's do another one. Let's do another one. Let's do 2 more and then call it quits. Okay, 2 more. Very similar situations, just for practicing purposes. But what if we're talking movie tickets? A movie theater charges $10 per ticket. Well, we know it's going to be y equals x. The value of y depends on the value of x. And we know that x is going to represent the number of tickets. And then, of course, y is the total cost. So the total cost depends on how many tickets you buy. Now, we know that it's $10 per ticket, so we can simply multiply x by 10. See? You've seen this pattern in a few of them before. Unless we have an equation for every occasion, y equals 10x. Now, let's come up with some scenarios. What if I want to buy 12 tickets? Boom. I'm very popular. I've got so many friends. Yay. 12 tickets. So the total cost y equals $10 times 12, because I'm getting 12 tickets. Now, y'all know what 10 times 12 is. You simply add a 0 to the 12, and you have 120. So it looks like we're going to be paying some good money for this. It's going to cost you $120 if you're going to get 12 tickets at $10 a piece. Let's try another scenario. Let's say we're not so popular. Let's say we got 7 tickets. You know, me and 6 of my close friends, we're going to go see a movie. Well, the total cost, y, will depend on whatever 10 times 7 is. $10 per ticket, 7 tickets. 10 times 7 is going to give me, it's still expensive, $70, you guys. I guess if you got a bunch of people going and you're paying for everybody, you better pack some money. I'll tell you what. All right, let's do another one. Now let's say that I'm going to the movies and I got all kinds of friends. Like I got friends coming out of my ears. Let's say me and 2 other people go. That means we need 3 total tickets. Y, the total cost, depends on whatever 10, the cost per ticket, times 3 happens to be. And we know that 10 times 3 is a much more manageable $30. So if I'm getting 3 tickets at $10 a piece, I'm only paying $30. Not too shabby. Okay, let's do one more situation. Should we do 2 more? Let's try 2 more. Just because I'm feeling generous. Let's do 2 more. Look at this. Let's talk video games just for a second. All right? Let's say it's a situation where you start the game with 20 points. You follow me? And then you earn 1 point per level. we always start out the same as we do with everything. We start out with the y equals x. The value of y depends on the value of x. And, of course, what happens to the x. Okay, so let's see if we can put this together. Well, it looks like x represents the number of levels completed. And, of course, y represents the total number of points. But we got to account for this 20 points that we start out with. What if we did this? What if we took the x? We just plugged in the levels, like level 1, level 2, level 3 as we go. But then we just add 20 because you start out with a constant value of 20 when you start the game. So couldn't we represent that as x plus 20 equals the total number of points? Yes, we could. Yes, we can. Y equals x plus 20. So now let's go ahead and plug in some values for x. Let's say we start out at level 1. Well, that means y, the total number of points, is going to equal 1, because you get 1 point per level, plus 20 that you start the game with. So if you're on level 1, boom, you get 21 points, y'all. Oh, my goodness. All you gamers out there are like, no durr. All right, let's try another one. Let's say you make it all the way to level 2. Level 2. The y equals the total number of points, which means you've made it to 2 levels, so you get those 2 points, plus the 20 points that you started out the game with. We know that 2 plus 20 is 22, which means you got 22 total points. And then just for good measure, we're going chronologically, folks. We make it to level 3. We're super good. We're a total gamer. Boom. Y, the total number of points, equals the number of levels. You've completed 3. Boom. Plus the 20 points that you started with. Boom. Which means you got 23 points. So when x is 3, y is 23. Let's try this one. Is the last one, I promise. Let's talk pencils. Can we talk pencils for just a second? Like you and me, we never talk. Let's talk about pencils. I mean, if we're going to talk, let's talk about pencils. It doesn't even have to be the number 2. All right. A box already has 4 pencils. It's already got them. They have them. It's right there, 4 pencils. And you add 1 pencil per day. Sounds like a similar situation to what we were talking about before. So let's go ahead and do our y equals x. Y equals x. Now, x represents the number of days. Day 1, day 2, day 3, day 12, day 50 billion, or 978, like one of my students would say. So we can leave x as is. But we have to account for the fact that you start out with 4 pencils. You know what I'm saying? So we have to add 4 to represent this situation. X plus 4 would represent 1 pencil per day plus the 4 that you start with. Da, 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 da. And just like that, folks, we can now plug in some values. So let's do it. Let's say that you're on day 1. Well, y, the total number of pencils, equals the day, so we have day 1, plus the 4 that you start with, which means on day 1, just like that, boom, pencils in a box, you get 5. Just like that. Okay, now, let's say that you go to day 2. Why not? Y equals the total number of pencils. Day 2 would be x. So now we've collected 2 pencils plus the 4 we started out with. On day 2, I should write this down. On day 2, you have a grand total of 6 pencils. Now let's skip a few days. Let's say we made it to day 8. Y equals the total number of pencils day 8, so you get 8 pencils, 1 per day, plus the 4 you started with, means on day 8, you get 12 pencils. Anyways, I do hope that was beneficial for you and extra helpful. If it was, tell your friends, tell your family, tell yourself, you're amazing. Hopefully. Okay, have a wonderful night, y'all.